My name is Simbongile and I'm currently a sprinter at Red Academy, and I'm growing myself on becoming a software developer, and also I'm growing my personal career of becoming a motivational speaker by making videos and also motivating young people out there, especially like the guys, since like the guys, they are going through a lot of things, and then like now, since they are going through a lot of things, they don't have someone who I would say they can look up to. And then like now I want to play that part, not saying I have everything or something, but to play that part whereby they can be able to, so that their voices can be heard out there, and also the talent that they have, they can grow it out and the world could be able to see it, and so that then they can achieve their goals academically, physically, and also mentally, specifically spiritual. That way they can be able to become a better person in what they are now.
And since when were you starting to help these boys with your motivational talks?
I'll say it's been quite some time now. I'm not 100% with the when, but I'll say, if I'm not mistaken, since it's 2023 now, so 2022, it's been like, I'll say from 2021, if I'm not mistaken. This thing started like I was like chatting with like small boys, and then chatting with them, like asking them what would you like to become, and then someone would be like, okay, I would want to become like a doctor, and then or some I would like to become a teacher. And then like when I was like talking to them, I saw something which is, most of them, they have they have big dreams, but now there's always a blocker. There's always a blocker or a disturbing thing which like will make them to go south, northeast. And then like now I was also like observing more on the locations where I'll stay, where like mostly I would say it's more black people where. And then when I was like there observing, I saw a lot of things which like were happening, and most of those things, they were the reason why most of the boys, and also some girls, were not achieving their goals, because of there's no motivation, and there's no that backbone whereby they can lie on, someone who can like show them the way, this is the light, don't go this way, don't do drugs, live this way, don't go to parties or something, don't like don't rely more on like on bad friends, but be able to see what's good and what's not good, be able to identify a good message from a person, even from a bad person, and like be able to gather the message someone is trying to give you, not only by shouting or beating you or doing something crazy, but also by talking. Because of like sometimes out there we really do get messages from many different people, and also like I've seen a lot of things, like I'll say I've achieved a lot of messages, like a person will just say something out of the blue, and then I'll be like, oh okay, this is actually like what's happening to my life, for example. So like in a nutshell, I would say that thing started when like I was observing where I stay, the reason why we are not achieving our goals, and the obstacles that we face home, at the street, and also the peer pressure, like the young boys, like us young men, we face as a whole.
And what advice would you have for someone that is maybe in matric now and they are not sure what they're going to do next year? What advice do you have for someone that's maybe experiencing like anxiousness about the future?
Okay, one of the things that I will say to a grade 12 learner is like, maybe as you're saying like stress or something, I will say I since like back from high school, I have two things which whenever I would say I advise a person like what you must look at. One, you must look at yourself in a way of, are you good at working with people, or are you good at working with things? And then like when you can be able to differentiate, or when you can able to identify yourself in those two points, then I will say it will be easy for you to know which career to follow. For example, you are for example, if like I will take you like to a reality a reality. If you, for example, we go to a clinic, most people, I'll say the nurses there, because of this thing, like most people they know. So when you go to a clinic, especially like the black community clinics, when you go there, you'll get like, for example, this nurse, and then when you get this nurse, you try to talk to them in a calm way, and then like because of the stress they are getting in that like environment from different patients, so like they become like, they end up like changing, and then they'll be answering you in a very aggressive manner, and then it'll be like the nurses at whole, they're not respecting. Do you understand? So like now, those are some of the things that, and then that will take me to a point whereby like those people, when for example that person chose that thing, they didn't like sit down with themselves and then be like, am I good when it comes to working with people? And like when a certain people, when for example a certain individual comes to me with a certain behavior, would I be able like to understand them, and would I be able to calm myself in a way of like, when that person is saying something, I won't like answer back in the same attitude or behavior. So those are some of the things which like most people they lack on identifying yourself. Are you really good with people or with things? Because of, if that person was did they really spend time with themselves, they would know that if a person is acting this way, I can't deal with this thing. If a person is insulting me, I'll insult back. And then like, if you can be able to identify that small thing with yourself, and then you can be able to actually know which path to take, then when such behavior comes along the way, you will not be shaken or something. You'll be like, oh okay, you understand, because of, you know that you are good at working with people. So sometimes we're not really sure, because of we're not really sure with ourselves. It's like asking a person, do you know who you are? And then the person will be like, okay, let me put it this way. I'll ask you, for example, who are you? And then the person will be like, oh, I'm Simbongile. Like and then I'll be like, okay, no, I don't want your name. I want who you are. Like who is Simbongile? Who is Simbongile? Like those are type of a question that one will have like to sit down and then ask themselves, who are you, rather than like workplace or something, like who are you? And then I'll say, if one can be able to identify that, they will never be lost in their life.